Today we will discuss moving coil galvanometer. Moving coil galvanometer consists a coil with a number of turns wound on a soft iron uh, core. So like shown in the figure, and this is the soft iron core. On which a wire is wound like this. So, and this coil is placed in a magnetic field, and the magnetic field is shown like this. So these are the two magnetic poles, say north pole and this is south pole. So magnetic field will be acting in this direction. So this is the direction of magnetic field, and it is radial. The direction of magnetic field is radial, and this coil is suspended by a spring from here, from the center, and say this is the spring. There's a spring SP, and a needle is also attached here, like here. This is the needle, and there is a scale arrangement here. This is the scale. So this is the structure of the galvanometer, moving coil galvanometer, and it consists of a coil. This is the coil with number of turns. Say N is number of turns here, number of turns, and area of each turn you can say it is A, and this wire is wound on a soft iron core, and that whole thing is suspended by a spring SP, and a needle is attached at the center like this, and whole thing is placed between two poles. Whole thing is placed between two magnetic poles or placed in magnetic field. So whenever current is going through this wire, for example, if current going through this wire is in this direction, whenever current is going through this wire, and each loop behaves like a magnetic dipole whose magnetic moment will be I times A. So whenever current is going through this loop, and if area of this loop is A, then magnetic moment of this loop will be now I times A, and there are n number of such turns, then total magnetic moment of the coil will be now your N into Ia. So that is your total magnetic moment. And see, the direction of magnetic moment will be along your area direction, and area direction you can get by curling rule. You curl your fingers along the current direction, then the thumb gives the direction of its area, and for this case area will be acting upwards. Area will be acting in this way. So let us write down here. So this is the direction of area for this case. So along the same direction your mu also acts. So this is your mu direction. Now the magnetic field is in this direction. The magnetic field is perpendicular to the area. So this is the direction of magnetic field. So whenever current is established, and magnetic moment will act in this way, and magnetic field is acting in this way. Because of this, you see the torque acting on the coil will be now mu cross B. This is the equation. Whenever you place current carrying loop, now this is a loop, there are many loops, and each loop, magnetic moment of each loop is Ia, and there are n number of loops, so you get total magnetic moment of the coil is N into Ia, and when you place that coil in a magnetic field, you see the torque, and that torque equals to mu cross B. And in this case the field is radial, field is acting radially, so the angle between mu and B is 90 degrees for this case. When angle between mu and B is 90 degrees, then the torque will be, you get maximum torque, that is mu times B, and that equals to mu is your NIA into B. So this is the torque. This is the torque produced by your magnetic field. So whenever there is a torque, then coil then a coil rotates in this field. When coil rotates in this field, you see the twist in the spring. Whenever there is a twist in the spring, and spring will give counter torque. As so, spring gives the counter torque, and that torque is equals to, let us say, K phi. And here K is called torsional constant. K is torsional constant, and that is defined as torque required to produce unit twist. So phi is here deflection. So whenever current is going through this, and this loop behaves like a magnetic dipole, and whenever the dipole is in the external magnetic field, you see the torque, and that torque rotates this coil. Whenever whenever the torque rotates the coil, and immediately spring gets twisted, and that twisted spring will give anti-torque, whose magnitude is equals to Tk, and your coil will get equilibrium whenever the torque by magnetic field is balanced by torque by your spring. So now when that happens, then you get K phi. This is torque given by the spring, that equals to, I am rewriting this part, torque due to that magnetic field as NABI. So whenever torque produced by spring equals to torque produced by magnetic field, then your coil gets equilibrium. So for this case, you can write down that phi equals to NAB by K into I. So this is the equation. Now here I is current going through this coil, and phi is a deflection, and N is number of turns in this coil, and A is the area of each loop, and B is magnetic field between these two poles, and K is your torsional constant of the spring. Now for this case, then what happens? Let us see the deflection here. For this case, the torque is acting, see here, current is going in this direction. When current is going in this direction, then your area will be upwards, so that is shown here, area is upwards, and magnetic field is going in this way. Then torque produced by this field will be in this direction. So when torque is in this direction, then coil gets rotated like this. It will go in this way. So whenever coil rotates, then the whole thing will get rotated. Then your needle will show deflection maybe in this direction, say like that. Your needle, total coil gets rotated, so you get new coil in this way. So like this. So you get deflection here. That phi is this one. So you can define here current sensitivity. Here let us define current sensitivity here. Current sensitivity is defined as deflection per unit current. So deflection per unit current equals to NAB by K. And look at here, NAB by K, this is fixed for a given galvanometer. This is fixed for a given galvanometer. As you increase I, deflection increases. Now the current sensitivity is defined as deflection per unit current. So that is NAB by K. And if you want to increase the deflection, if you want to increase the current sensitivity, you can increase number of turns, or you can increase area, or B, whatever. So let us do. If I double the number of turns, if I am increasing number of turns from N to 2N, then what happens to current sensitivity? So then for this case, for the first case, current sensitivity equals to, so let us write down current sensitivity as SI here. So that equals to NAB by K. I am only changing number of turns. I am simply doubling the number of I am only increasing this number of turns. Then In the second case, this is the sensitivity, current sensitivity when number of turns are n. Now number of turns, in the second case number of turns are 2n, then let us say the sensitivity is as I prime, then you get 2n ka by 2 n a b by k. So then s prime by si prime by si equals to, now if you take this by that you get 2. So it means your si prime equals to 2 times si. So si prime by si equals to 2 and si prime equals to 2si. So it means when you increase number of turns from n to 2n, your sensitivity is also going from si to 2si. So your sensitivity is also double. Now look at the voltage sensitivity of this equipment. Now we know phi is this. Now if you take Ohm's law, which says voltage equals to Ri, from there you can write I equals to V by R. So then let us come from this equation. So let us write down here voltage sensitivity. Voltage sensitivity, let us take the general equation. The general equation is phi equals to n a b by k times I. So that I equals to V by R. So that is phi equals to n a b by k into V by R. So then voltage sensitivity is defined as deflection per unit voltage. So deflection per unit voltage equals to now n a b by k into R. This is what your voltage sensitivity. Now for this case, let us see, if I double the number of turns, then what happens to voltage sensitivity. Now in the first case, number of turns are n, and in the second case I am taking number of turns are 2n. Then voltage sensitivity in the first case, when number of turns are n, so let us write down voltage sensitivity as SV, that equals to n a b by k into R. So when number of turns are 2n, then you get a voltage sensitivity, that is SV prime equals to n, you get 2n a b by k R. R is resistance of the wire here. When you increase number of turns 2 times, then length of the wire also becomes 2 times, then resistance of the wire also becomes 2 times, then your resistance becomes 2R. So now if you cancel this 2 and 2, and sensitivity of voltage sensitivity of galvanometer initially and finally both are same. So even though you double the, from these two you can write down SV equals to SV prime. So it means even though you double the number of turns, if you double the number of turns, you can increase the current sensitivity, but there is no change in current, there is no voltage sensitivity. So when you double the number of turns, current sensitivity also doubles, and there is no change in voltage sensitivity. Look at this problem. There are two moving coil galvanometers, say M1 and M2. M1 and M2. And the specifications are given as R1 equals to 10 ohm, means resistance of first coil is 10 ohm, and number of turns in the first moving coil galvanometer is 30, and area of loop is given as 3.6 into 10 power minus 3 meter square, and magnetic field is 0.25 Tesla. So these are the specifications of first galvanometer, and the specifications of second galvanometer are R2 equals to 14 ohm and N2 equals to 42 turns, and area A2 equals to area of coil is 1.8 into 10 power minus 3 meter square, and the magnetic field is 0.50 Tesla. So these are the specifications. Now we need to find the ratio of current sensitivities and ratio of voltage sensitivities. So we know by definition the current sensitivity of the galvanometer is phi by I, that is NAP by K. K is common for both coils. K is common for both moving coil galvanometers, and this is the sensitivity. So that you can write down as SI or SI1. So now from here, this is SI, sensitivity of galvanometer, current sensitivity of galvanometer. Now you need to find ratio of current sensitivities. Now you can write down SI1 by SI2, that equals to, from here, N1 A1 B1 by K1 into, then by N2 A2 B2 by K2, so that I can write down as like this, K2 by N2 A2 B2. So in this case torsional constants are same for both, you can cancel that. Now SI1 by SI2 equals to, so N1 is 30, A1 is 3.6 into 10 power minus 3, B1 is 0.25 by N2 is 42 into, and A2 is 1.8 into 10 power minus 3 into, that is B is 0.50. So once you substitute this, once you cancel this, you can cancel all the things. So then you can cancel this by that, you get 2, and you can cancel this and that, you get 2, and that 2 can be cancelled, and 10 power minus 3 can be cancelled, you get 30 by 42. 30 by 42 is 1 by 1.4. Similarly, you can compute the ratio of voltage sensitivities. Then ratio of voltage sensitivities, you can define first voltage sensitivity, that is phi by V equals to, let's say that is SV equals to, that is NAB by K into R. So now SV1 by SV2 equals to N1 A1 B1 by K1 R1 by N2 A2 B2 by K2 R2, that you can write down as K2 R2 by N2 A2 B2. You can cancel K1 K2 because both are same. Now SV1 by SV2 equals to, then N1 is 30, or you can take, already we have done this by this, N1 A1 B1 by N2 A2 B2, that we got from here, N1 A1 B1 by N2 A2 B2, that is 1 by 1.4, and the remaining part is R2 by R1, so that is 1 by 1.4 into R2 is 14, then R1 is 10, so that equals to 1 by 1. So SV2 or SV1 by SV2 equals to 1.